What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cat Angle here, bringing it back to you guys another Defiance video talking about sieges and what they are, why you should run them, and why they're good for you. If I open up my map here, you're going to see that the sieges are going to be located all throughout the corresponding course of the map. And each siege is going to have a little bit of a different icon on it. The sieges are going to be this blue circle here, and as you can see, if I'm hovering over this blue circle, an objective pops up. It tells me to complete the Rangers in the Raiders conflict site at the Rangers in peril. Now, what this means is that when I head to this point, I have to complete that, and I'll be able to complete the set objective. And once I complete the set objective, I'm not only going to get script, currency, and XP, but I'm also going to get set currency for a faction vendor, specifically top-notch faction vendor, because if I were to run this, it's a top-notch siege. Now, if you don't know what a faction vendor is, I'm going to hover over the little merchant cart that is next to every teleport station corresponding throughout the map, and you'll see, if I hover over the one on top-notch toolworks, you'll see that top-notch toolworks vendor is going to be located there. If you head over the processing plant here, you're going to see the echelon vendor is located here, and if I head over the crater, you're going to see that the enterprise vendor is going to be located there. Now, what that means is that each vendor sells a different set of weapons that are unique to the set vendor, such as different type of elemental weapons, explosive weapons, mod caches, and titles. And what this means is that they're going to be a lot stronger than weapons that you can happen to obtain throughout the course of just finding weapons on the game, such as running arc falls, from running incursions, from running co-op maps, etc., etc. And you can actually upgrade these weapons accordingly, of course, like any other weapon you happen to obtain. But what's cool about these weapons, if I pop into the Enterprise, I believe, no, this is the Echelon vendor. If I pop into the Echelon vendor, you can see that these different types of weapons are actually goes up in rarity. So you can actually buy a purple weapon straight off the bat at any level that you choose. Of course, these will, I think they will all correspond to your level, meaning that they will basically go up in damage output depending on your current ego. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how that goes. Anyway, as you can see here, since the weapon here is blue, the currency is right here. So this is the currency that the Echelon vendor needs, which is going to be located here. So it's 100 of the Echelon vendor currency, and then it's 1,862 script. And then if I want like a purple weapon, it's going to be 200 of the Echelon currency and 4,480 script. And you can see right down here, this is my script, and this is my Echelon currency that I currently obtain. Now, if you're wondering, well, how do I obtain more of this currency? That's simple. If you're looking to obtain currency for a set faction vendor, you're going to open up your map and you're going to look around and see if you can find the siege corresponding to the vendor that you happen to be looking at. So for instance, if I was going to go to the top-notch vendor has a T as its icon. So you can see the siege right here has a little T, meaning that if I were to head to that siege, complete that objective, and then from there I was able to, let's say I was the top ranking in that siege that I happened to complete, I'm going to get the most currency, I'm going to get the most XP, but not only will I get all of that, I'm also going to get the most points towards the top-notch vendor itself, meaning that I'm going to get a bunch of points for that as well, and I'm going to be able to use those points to obtain top-notch vendor gear, etc., etc. Unfortunately, these do spawn at random, so if you're looking for a specific gun that happens to be in one vendor that you happen to be looking at, you have to wait around for a pretty long time, I'd say, depending on which merchant you happen to go to. But overall, it's not too bad. So let's say if you wanted a gun from the Echelon vendor, you'll have to wait for an Echelon siege. And you can know if it's an Echelon siege by looking at the map and seeing, okay, so which siege has a hammer icon on it. None of these sieges have a hammer icon on it at the moment, so none of these sieges you can actually obtain it. Except for the Alcatraz here, which I actually just zoomed in completely wrong. Captured 10 points in the war. So you actually might be able to obtain it from Warfronts. Actually, but don't quote me on that. That might actually be a possibility. But if you can see, this is the little icon here. So if you don't know what the icon is for the type of vendor you happen to be looking at, you can always look at the actual vendor station itself, and it will always have the icon loaded there. Other than that, it's pretty much it, guys. I highly recommend running some of these sieges when you do have some downtime, because they are really, really strong weapons and really, really good to use, and especially really good for a good starting point in order to get to late game, because these weapons are really strong, and you're not going to find anything else like them. You might find it from a weapon cache or a lockbox, but the easiest way to do it is just by going into one of these merchant vendors, such as the echelon vendor, top notch vendor, etc., and picking up the weapon that you happen to like, just building up currency. It really doesn't take too long, depending on which vendor, like I said before, that you happen to be looking at. But overall, it's really enjoyable, really fun to do, and honestly, it will get you in a pretty good spot in the long run. Anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. My name is Chaotic Angle. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to drop a like. It kind of helps me out, and I hope to see you guys real soon. Later.